The story begins with Orn standing inside an abandoned tunnel while staying alert and cautious. He keeps his guard up as a few demon rats suddenly rush straight toward him. After he cleanly slices them apart with sharp sword strikes, he realizes that he is not as out of shape as he thought. This gives him some hope, and he starts thinking that he might actually still have a real chance to become a swordsman after all. Soon after that, a group of goblins appears in front of him. This time, Orn decides that instead of relying only on his sword, he will test his support magic. He casts a support spell on himself, and his body becomes stronger while a dark green aura wraps around him. Support magic is known for boosting physical power or enhancing equipment. One important advantage of this magic is that the caster does not need to use it only on teammates. He can also use it on himself whenever needed. With his strength now increased, Orn easily cuts down the goblins without much trouble. This kind of spell is something every party needs to survive tough battles. However, Orn admits that support magic has a clear weakness. These spells do not last forever. The amount of time they remain active depends on the caster's magic resistance. In Orn's case, the effect lasts for up to 3 minutes. Because of this limit, Orn must always keep track of time in his head. He needs to recast the spell at the perfect moment, because if it runs out during a fight, the situation could turn very dangerous for him. He casts another round of support magic and uses the boost to defeat the final wave of goblins with steady and controlled movements. Despite his impressive sword skill and careful magic use, the leader of his party, Oliver, still decides to give him the boot and kicks him out from the party. Orn is completely stunned and cannot believe what he is hearing. He thinks this must be some kind of sick joke, especially since he and Oliver have been close friends since childhood. Oliver then speaks honestly and tells Orn that they really have been best friends for many years. Because of that friendship, Oliver explains that he gave Orn many chances to improve. However, no real progress was made. Oliver says that Orn simply cannot keep up with the rest of the party anymore. The other party members, Anew and Derek, step in and tell Oliver to stop being so gentle. They directly tell Orn that he is being kicked out because he's not strong enough. Orn is left frozen in shock, unable to process what is happening. This party was created by Orn and Oliver 8 years ago. It grew incredibly powerful and reached its rank in only a few years. They were the first group to reach the 94th floor of the Southern Great Dungeon. This achievement made them famous among civilians, and people began to call them the Heroes Party. Oliver admits that Orn's support magic is not bad. However, during their last raid, they saw the power of enchanters from other parties. After comparing the difference, they realized just how weak Orn's support magic truly was in comparison. Orn reminds them that he is a swordsman after all, so he was never even meant to focus on support magic in the first place. Dennis suddenly snaps at Orn and tells him to shut up and just admit the truth, that he only changed roles because Oliver was always better with a sword than him. Orn says that is not true at all. He explains that the party desperately needed an enchanter, so he took on that role himself since he was the one with the most talent for it. He even went as far as creating his own magic to cover up his weaknesses. That, more than anything else, is probably the reason they managed to survive even on the deepest floors of the dungeon. Oliver tells Orn that there is no point in arguing anymore because they have already found a replacement. Orn's eyes widen in shock when he hears that, and he asks them if this is really how they plan to treat him after all the time they spent together. Orn slowly realizes that Oliver is right. There truly is no point in arguing anymore, so he holds on to what little pride he has left and simply walks away. As he is leaving, Anew calls out to him and says that someone like him is what people call a jack of all trades. He can do almost everything, but he is never truly great at any of them. Orn thinks back to those words while he is in the tunnel and still believes that he is adaptable enough to become both a swordsman and an enchanter, and when he finally does, no one will ever have the nerve to call him a jack of all trades again. After that, Orn decides to call it a day and head back home. Suddenly, a group of adventurers come running out of the dungeon entrance, terrified and out of breath. Orn does not care about whatever problem they are dealing with and starts to walk away. However, he overhears them talking about how they were ambushed by a horde of orcs and had no choice but to leave behind the new girl who joined their party earlier that day. Orn suddenly stops when he hears this and knows that he should not get involved. Even so, he cannot ignore it. He clenches his fist in frustration because he knows exactly how painful it is to be abandoned by your own party. The adventurers try to justify their decision Orhan to leave the girl behind, but that is when Orhan speaks up and tells them that people like them that piss him off the most. The adventurers try to explain that even if they had stayed and tried to save her, it would not have changed the outcome. Their leader gets furious that some random guy is questioning their judgment, so he throws a punch at Orhan. Orhan easily blocks the attack and counters, throwing the leader hard onto the ground. After that, Orhan asks them where they left the girl. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the girl is being forced back against a wall as the orcs slowly surround her. She puts up a barrier to hold them off for the moment, but after the orcs keep striking it again and again, the barrier finally shatters. With no ideas left and nowhere to run, she gives up and quietly accepts her fate. Then, all of a sudden, a powerful gust of wind fills the room, and Orhan appears right in front of her. He immediately uses his support magic and jumps into the fight against the orcs, managing to slice through a few of them. The girl watches him in shock as she sees him fighting with a sword while also using support magic at the same time, making her wonder if he is a swordsman or an enchanter. Orhan keeps cutting down the orcs, leaving the girl stunned because she has never seen anyone fight like this before. Orhan soon realizes that there are actually a lot of orcs, so he understands why a low-ranking party would choose to run away. Still, he is confident they will not be a problem for him. Using his enchanted sword, he wipes out the rest of the orcs in one swift motion. When the fight is over, Orhan walks up to her and asks if she is okay. The girl suddenly collapses to the ground and begins to cry after facing such a close brush with death. A few minutes later, they leave through a nearby cave, and outside, Orhan tells her goodbye and starts to walk away. The girl quickly calls him back and says she wants to thank him properly. She introduces herself as Sophia and offers to treat Orhan to dinner as a way of thanking him for saving her life. Orhan refuses at first, saying that he did not save her just to receive appreciation. Sophia then gives him a pair of puppy dog eyes, and Orhan finds himself unable to say no, so he agrees to have dinner with her. Before they leave, Orhan looks at her cloak and notices a crest that feels strangely familiar, even though he cannot remember where he has seen it before. Later that night, they arrive at a local restaurant, and Sophia tells him that it is her favorite place to eat. It is not very expensive, but the food there is really good. When Orhan sees the logo on one of the signs, he suddenly remembers where he has seen that crest before. It belongs to one of the rabbit's shops. From the crest on her cloak, Orhan figures out that Sophia is a member of the Night Sky Silver Rabbits, one of the largest guilds in the kingdom of Nohitand. They head inside the restaurant, where Sophia unexpectedly runs into her sister, Selma. Sophia asks her what she is doing there, and Selma casually replies that she had a meeting nearby and decided to stop in to grab something to eat. Selma notices that Sophia is with a man and immediately tells her that it is too soon for her to have a boyfriend. It turns out that Orhan and Selma already know each other and share some history, which surprises Sophia. Selma is revealed to be part of the S-rank party, the strongest group within the Silver Rabbits, and she is also the most powerful enchanter on the continent. She is the one who made enchanters famous and came up with the idea of giving party members different roles. Roles like attackers to defeat enemies, defenders to block attacks, and supporters to help from the back. The concept of dividing a party into 3 roles was entirely her idea. Her influence was so great that it completely changed how adventurers prepare before entering dungeons. That idea was also the reason Orhan decided to become an enchanter for his former party, and it was after seeing Selma's incredible enchantment skills during a raid last month that Oliver and the others decided to cast Orhan aside. Orhan looks at Selma and cannot understand why she is giving him such a dirty look. Selma suddenly accuses him of trying to get close to her 14-year-old sister. Orhan quickly explains that all he planned to do was have dinner with Sophia and that his intentions are completely pure. Selma takes offense to that explanation as well and assumes that Orhan is saying Sophia is not good enough for him. Sophia then speaks up and tells Selma to stop yelling at the man who just saved her life. Selma looks confused at first, but after a few seconds, she realizes what that means. It means Sophia went into the dungeon all by herself. Sophia apologizes for doing that and says she feels really bad about it. Hearing this, Orhan now understands that Sophia had been exploring the dungeon without her clan the entire time. Seeing that Sophia is not hurt, Selma decides there is no point in scolding her any further. Selma thanks Orhan for saving her sister's life and apologizes for how rude she was earlier. After that, the 3 of them sit down to eat dinner and talk. Sophia still does not understand how Orhan and Selma know each other, so he explains that they met during the raid last month. At the time, they were both enchanters and were assigned to the same unit. Since Selma ranked higher than him, she was in charge, and Orhan supported her during the mission. Selma is surprised that Sophia does not know who Orhan is, because he is a member of the infamous hero's party. Sophia gasps in shock when she hears this and immediately starts treating Orhan much more formally. Orhan quickly tells them that he is no longer with the hero's party because they went their separate ways. Selma is shocked that the hero's party would let go of such a talented enchanter. She then asks Orhan if that means he is free now. Orhan assumes she is about to ask him to join the Silver Rabbits. So before she can finish her sentence, he turns her down and says he does not plan to join any party anytime soon. Selma tells him he has the wrong idea because she was not trying to recruit him. Instead, she wants Orhan to act as one of the tutors for a teaching expedition happening tomorrow. His role would be to help train a group of new recruits. The plan is for a rank adventurers and above to guide the new recruits, and they will spend the next 3 days descending 50 floors into the Southern Great Dungeon. Orhan finds this very surprising, since even top adventurers usually take 6 months to a year to reach that depth. Selma admits it will be difficult, but says it will not be impossible if they take the shortest route. On top of that, their clan sponsors are strongly pushing for it to happen. Orhan realizes that the plan is dangerous enough that they could have refused the sponsors if they wanted to, so he suspects there must be another reason. After thinking for a moment, he understands it right away. If new recruits who cannot even defeat a floor boss are allowed to reach deeper floors, the entire clan will grow much stronger. Selma is surprised that Orhan figured this out so easily with so little information. She realizes he is much sharper than she expected. In the dungeon, adventurers must defeat a floor boss that appears every 10 floors in order to continue deeper. It is normal for new recruits to get injured or even die during these fights. However, if a tutor defeats the floor boss instead, all the recruits need to do is register at the crystal on that floor and move on. Because of this, the clan needs as many strong tutors as possible, which is why they want Orhan to join them. Selma gently takes Orhan's hands and tells him that she truly respects him, which is why she wants him to be part of this mission. Hearing this, Orhan ignores the painful memory of being kicked out of the hero's party because his support magic was inferior to Selma's. Just thinking about it makes him realize that if he goes back to being an enchanter, he will definitely regret it. He pulls his hands away and tells Selma that he cannot come because he already has plans. Sophia then gives him the puppy dog eyes once again and begs him to come with them. Orhan cannot resist and finally gives in, but he tells Selma that he has switched to being a swordsman. If he joins them, it will be as a swordsman, not as an enchanter. Selma is surprised by this, but she decides it does not really matter. If things go wrong, she assumes he can always return to using enchantment. She then tells him that if he is coming, he should be at Silver Rabbit headquarters by tomorrow morning. Later that night, Orhan visits his favorite store. The owner is just about to close, but he still lets Orhan come in for a drink. The old man sits down with him and thanks him for advertising the store ever since he became a famous adventurer. Thanks to that, business has been doing very well. Orhan feels embarrassed and tells the old man that he is no longer part of the hero's party. Even so, the owner thanks him for everything he has done. Orhan is surprised that he is being thanked despite being cast aside by his party. The old man tells him that he has a feeling Orhan will receive many more thanks in the future. He also says that leaving the hero's party may turn out to be a blessing that Orhan simply does not see yet. He advises Orhan to follow his heart and do what feels right, promising that no matter what happens, he will always support him. Orhan's eyes fill with tears after hearing these words, and he sincerely thanks the old man. That was episode 1. Subscribe to not miss the next part.
Take you